Seniors. Never refrigerate these 8 common foods. They turn bad faster. There is a hidden truth most seniors never hear. Every year, millions of people over 60 shove foods into the refrigerator believing they shall stay fresher longer. You open the fridge, slide things to the back, and assume cool equals better. But that blanket rule does not apply to everything. For many staple foods, cold temperatures actively damage flavor, texture, and sometimes even nutrition. This is not kitchen folklore, it is food science. Small storage choices change how food tastes, how long it lasts, and how much nutrition you actually get from each bite. In this video I shall walk you through 8 everyday foods seniors should not refrigerate. I will explain exactly why the cold ruins them, give simple science-backed tips for better storage, and share quick tricks that save money and make every meal taste fresher. We shall count down from number 8 to number 1, and by the end you will know how to keep your pantry and counter working for you, not against you, before we begin. Quick housekeeping. Drop a comment with where you are watching from and which food you always toss in the fridge. Hit like and subscribe if you want more practical tips for aging well. We read every comment and reply with tailored advice. Number 8. Coffee beans or ground. If you love coffee, never refrigerate your beans or ground coffee. Coffee is a fragile, aromatic product. The flavor you taste in a cup comes from hundreds of volatile compounds that evaporate or break down when exposed to moisture, heat, light, or oxygen. Refrigerators are humid and full of smells, leftover takeout, garlic, onions, cheese. Coffee is porous and absorbs these odors quickly. That is why a bag of beans that sat near your fridge cheese tastes oddly savory or stale. Moreover, temperature swings in and out of the fridge create condensation on the beans. That moisture accelerates the degradation of the aromatic oils. Grind cold beans and those oils are solidified. Extraction during brewing is disrupted, and your coffee tastes weak or flat. A study of coffee volatile profiles shows significant loss of key aromatics when coffee is stored under fluctuating temperatures. Keep your coffee in an airtight, opaque container, in a cool, dry cupboard, buy in small amounts and use within 2 weeks of opening for the best cup. If you must hold beans long-term, freeze small sealed portions once and use them without refreezing. Number 7. Peaches and nectarines stone fruit. Ripe stone fruit are one of summer's greatest pleasures, but the refrigerator is their enemy. Peaches and nectarines undergo chilling injury at low temperatures. Cold damages cell membranes and enzymes involved in ripening, leading to internal browning, a mealy texture, and dramatic loss of aroma and sweetness. That fuzzy peach that turned gritty. Fridge damage. Stone fruit finish ripening after harvest, a process that relies on enzymes and gentle cell activity. When the fruit experiences cold stress, the normal ripening pathways are interrupted and flavor precursors fail to develop. Post-harvest research shows that chilling injury in peaches manifests as mealiness and flavor loss, and it is often irreversible. In practical terms, that means a peach or nectarine left in the cold will almost never recover the original aroma and juice. Store stone fruit at room temperature until perfectly ripe, place them on the counter, out of direct sun, or in a single layer in a shallow bowl. Once they reach ideal ripeness, you can move them to the refrigerator only for a day or two to slow further ripening if you must, but flavor will always be better when eaten at room temperature. If you have excess ripe fruit, slice and freeze for smoothies or compote. Freezing preserves flavor better than refrigeration of whole fruit. A small peach compote simmered with lemon and a touch of honey freezes well and tastes like summer in winter. Buying fruit at staggered ripeness also avoids the temptation to shove everything into the fridge at once. Number 6. Cucumbers. Cucumbers love mild conditions and hate stress. Refrigeration commonly causes chilling injury in cucumbers, producing pitting, soggy pockets, and off flavors. Ever bite into a salad cucumber and get a watery, bland slice? The fridge did that. In many climates, cucumbers keep beautifully on the counter for several days without losing crunch. Cucumbers are more than water-filled rods. Their cell walls are fragile. Cold temperatures disrupt membrane function and cause water to leak into spaces that ruin texture. Scientific reports on cucurbits show pitting and increased susceptibility to decay when stored below recommended thresholds. If you live somewhere hot and need to slow softening, wrap cucumbers in a paper towel and keep them in a shaded, ventilated spot. If you must refrigerate, place them toward the front of the crisper and away from cold air vents, and use within a few days to reduce quality loss. Quick kitchen trick: slice cucumbers thin and dress with lemon, dill, and a pinch of salt right before serving. The bright acid masks minor texture changes, and you will enjoy a refreshing salad without letting the fruit sit too long. Number 5. Fresh basil and other highly aromatic leafy herbs. Basil is magic until you put it In the cold, basil leaves turn black, go limp, and lose those volatile oils that give them that bright, peppery scent. Cold damages the cell structures and causes rapid loss of aroma compounds. The trick is to treat basil like cut flowers, trim the stems and place them in a glass of water on the counter out of direct sun. Change the water daily and use within a few days. Aromatic herbs contain volatile oils in delicate glandular tissues. Chilling alters the composition and concentration of these volatiles, reducing aroma and causing discoloration. Controlled studies show that basil and similar herbs lose their volatile profile quickly at low temperatures. They fare far better with short-term room temperature handling. If you want to preserve a harvest of basil, consider quick freezing leaves in olive oil in ice cube trays. The flavor is far better preserved than storing bunches in the cold. Use those pesto cubes to brighten soups and sauces all winter long. Number 4. Bell and sweet peppers. Bell peppers are crisp, hydrating, and full of flavor, but they are sensitive to cold. Temperatures below roughly 7 degrees Celsius cause chilling damage. The pepper's cell walls lose turgor, the surface can pit, and the flesh becomes rubbery or mealy. If you only need peppers for a few days, keep them in a cool, ventilated area. Out of direct sunlight, chilling injury in peppers leads to reduced texture and increased decay. The cell breakdown creates a spongy or rubbery mouthfeel that is especially noticeable in raw uses like salads. Refrigeration will extend life in terms of microbiological safety, but at the cost of crispness. If you have excess peppers you do not plan to use soon, roast them, peel the skins, and pack them in olive oil roasted pepper. Preserves are delicious on sandwiches and as antipasti, and they circumvent the quality loss of simple cold storage. Number 3. Whole melons and watermelon uncut. Many shoppers toss an uncut melon straight into the fridge, but that can blunt sweetness and change texture before you ever slice it. Whole melons benefit from room temperature storage. Enzymes and sugars remain balanced, and flavor stays intact. Whole melons ripen and develop flavor compounds best at moderate temperatures. Once cut, however, melons must be refrigerated to prevent bacterial growth and to slow further degradation. If you have a melon and won't eat it within a day or two, keep it on the counter out of direct sun and slice only when ready. If you must hold it longer, uncut melons stored at a mild room temperature will retain the best sweetness. Profile. After cutting, place pieces in an airtight container and refrigerate. Cut melon should be consumed within a few days for best taste and safety. Number 2. Citrus. Short-term, oranges, lemons, limes. If using within about a week, this one surprises folks. For short-term use, citrus often tastes juicier and brighter at room temperature. Cold can dry the rind and make the fruit seem less lively. If you plan to use citrus within a week, keep it on the counter. For longer storage, a ventilated bag in the fridge can extend life, but you trade a little flavor for longevity. When citrus is at room temperature, its aromatic oils and volatile compounds are more active, producing that fresh zip you expect in your morning squeeze. Citrus rind contains essential oils that contribute significantly to perceived freshness. When chilled, some of these oils volatilize less readily and the flavor seems muted. The trade-off is simple. Room temp citrus is best for immediate flavor. Refrigerate for long-term storage when you prioritize shelf life over peak perfume. If you zest or juice citrus, do it at room temperature for maximum aroma and enzyme activity. Number 1. Onions whole, uncut. If you only change one habit, do not refrigerate whole onions. They need cool, dry, well-ventilated storage. Refrigerators are humid and enclosed, perfect for promoting softening, sprouting, and spoilage. Store onions in a mesh bag or basket in a pantry, cellar, or cool cupboard. Keep them away from potatoes. The two together accelerate spoilage due to gas exchange. Cut onions belong in the fridge in an airtight container and should be used within a week. Onions are surprisingly sensitive to humidity. The paper-like outer layers protect the bulb at room temperature. In the humid enclosed refrigerator, the skins soften and microbial risk rises. Onions stored properly in a dry, cool place can last for months without sprouting or rotting. If you need to store peeled or cut onion, refrigeration becomes necessary for safety, but whole bulbs do far better out of the cold. Here are straightforward rules to follow. Whole fruits and vegetables that are chill sensitive do better on the counter. Delicate aromatic herbs should be treated like flowers. Items that are cut, peeled, or cooked need refrigeration to prevent microbial growth. If you are unsure, think whole equals room temp. Cut equals fridge as a starting guide. Use simple tests. If the food loses aroma, goes mealy, or gets soggy after refrigeration, that is a sign cold is harming it. Why this matters for seniors. Food quality matters more as we age. Taste and smell decline naturally with age, and preserving flavor is key to maintaining appetite, nutrient intake, and enjoyment of meals. Seniors who lose interest in food risk poor nutrition. Also, avoiding unnecessary refrigeration saves money, less waste, less spoilage, and reduces the risk of consuming food that has lost beneficial compounds. A simple shift in storage can keep meals flavorful and appetites healthy, which in turn supports overall wellness and energy levels. Common storage mistakes and quick fixes. Mistake: tossing high-quality coffee into the fridge. Fix: small airtight canister on the counter by fresh amounts. Mistake: stashing ripe peaches in a crisper. Fix: ripen at room temperature and eat at once. Mistake: leaving whole melons in the cold. Fix: keep whole melons on the counter until cut. Mistake: storing onions in plastic bags. Fix: mesh bag in a cool, dry pantry. When to refrigerate anyway. If a food is cut, peeled, chopped, or cooked, refrigerate. If you are holding something for more than a week and cannot use it quickly, refrigeration may extend life at the cost of some quality. Balance is key. Choose refrigeration when microbial safety is the priority and leave room temp storage for short-term freshness and flavor preservation. Small changes in storage habits yield big benefits: better flavor, reduced waste, and more enjoyable meals. Try these simple swaps for a month and share what changed. If you want a printable checklist or a 20-second social hook, say the word and I will make it. Keep your food real and your meals joyful. Coffee beans contain hundreds of volatile compounds and delicate oils that define aroma and flavor. These compounds are highly sensitive to moisture, light, and temperature shifts. Even brief exposure to aromas from other foods can taint the volatile profile of coffee, and humidity from a refrigerator can accelerate oxidative changes. In lipids that carry much of coffee's taste, Margaret, 68, loved her morning cup but used to keep the bag in the fridge. After switching to a small airtight canister on the counter and buying smaller amounts, she noticed the difference within a week: brighter aroma and more satisfying mornings. What science shows: multiple studies of coffee storage show that exposure to humidity and fluctuating temperatures accelerates loss of volatile aromatics and increases the rate of oxidation of lipids, which reduces cup quality. The Specialty Coffee Association recommends cool, stable, dry storage rather than refrigeration for short-term use. Practical fixes and recipes: buy whole beans in small batches, grind just before brewing, store in an opaque airtight container in a cool cupboard. For long-term storage, split into weekly portions and freeze once. Avoid repeated thawing. Try making a simple French press with coarse ground beans for fuller flavor. Quick myth buster: refrigerating coffee keeps it fresh longer. False. Fridge kills aroma and accelerates the deterioration. Stone fruit aren't just culinary items. They are complex biological products. The ripening process relies on enzymes and cell membranes that are disrupted by cold. Chilling injury damages membranes and alters volatile compound production. Arthur, 72, always refrigerated peaches thinking they'd stay juicy. Instead, they turned grainy. He started leaving them to ripen on the counter and enjoyed a perfect fruit bowl each morning. What science shows: post-harvest research shows chilling injury in peaches results from membrane damage and altered volatile production. Chilling injury manifests as mealiness and loss of flavor. Controlled atmosphere and refrigeration are used commercially only under strict protocols. Home fridges are not suitable. Practical fixes and recipes: let peaches ripen on the counter. When ripe, enjoy fresh or slice and freeze for smoothies. A quick peach compote simmers. Sliced peaches with a touch of lemon and honey can be frozen and keeps flavor better than refrigerated whole fruit. Quick myth buster: I will refrigerate to preserve ripeness. False. Refrigeration often ruins ripeness in stone fruit unless carefully managed. Cucumbers are high in water and composed of fragile cell tissue. Chilling injury causes cell breakdown and off flavors. Helen, 75, found her salads soggy when she stored cucumbers in the fridge. After keeping cucumbers on the counter wrapped in a paper towel, she noticed crisper texture and better crunch. What science shows: research on cucurbits stored under low temperatures shows pitting and increased susceptibility to decay. Chilling injury is common in cucumbers stored below recommended thresholds. Practical fixes and recipes: store cucumbers at room temperature for days. Wrap in a paper towel to absorb excess moisture. If you must refrigerate, keep them separated from ethylene-producing fruits like apples or bananas. Make cucumber salad fresh with lemon and dill for best texture. Quick myth buster: they will last longer in the fridge. Sometimes false. Short-term counter storage preserves texture better. Aromatic herbs depend on volatile oils in fragile leaf tissues and are sensitive to chilling stress and water loss. Joan, 69, used to put basil in the fridge and was frustrated by the blackened leaves. After switching 2 stems in water on the counter and using basil within days, salads and sauces tasted dramatically better. What science shows, controlled studies show chilling alters the volatile profile of basil and accelerates pigment degradation, causing browning and loss of aroma. Basil retains flavor best when stored at room temperature with humidity control. Practical fixes and recipes. Store basil like cut flowers or freeze leaves in olive oil for later use. A simple pesto made with fresh basil, nuts, garlic, olive oil, and parmesan freezes beautifully in ice cube trays. Quick myth buster. Refrigeration preserves fresh herbs, not always true for basil and other delicate herbs. Peppers have thin skins and internal tissues that suffer from cold-induced changes in texture and flavor. Pedro, 73, thought the fridge would keep his peppers crisp. After a week they became pitted. He now stores them on the counter and uses them quickly in breakfasts and stir-fries. What science shows, scientific literature on capsicum shows chilling leads to cellular breakdown, pitting, and loss of crispness. Commercial cold chains account for this, but at home it's better to use soon after purchase. Practical fixes and recipes. Keep peppers in a cool ventilated spot. Chop and freeze if you can't use them soon. Roast leftover peppers and preserve in olive oil for sandwiches and salads. Quick myth buster. Fridge equals longer crispness. Half true, half false. The fridge extends life but harms quality. Whole melons continue to maintain sugar balance at room temp. Chilling can interfere with flavor precursors. Evelyn, 70, noticed watermelon lost that bright sweetness when refrigerated whole. When she kept it on the counter until cut, the slices tasted sweeter and had better texture. What science shows, post-harvest guidance recommends room temp storage for whole melons to preserve sweetness. Once cut, refrigeration is necessary to prevent microbial growth. Practical fixes and recipes. Store whole melon on counter. After cutting, wrap tightly and refrigerate cut pieces. Try chilled melon briefly after cutting, but don't refrigerate whole fruit for long periods. Quick myth buster. Fridge maintains sweetness. False for whole melons. Citrus rinds contain volatile oils. Short-term room temp keeps juices and aromatic oils active, improving flavor perception. Samuel, 66, kept lemons in the fridge and said his lemonade tasted flat. Keeping a few lemons on the counter restored the zing to his drinks. What science shows, research notes minor textural changes with cold air can dehydrate the rind. For short-term, room temp is better for flavor. For long-term storage, refrigeration helps. Practical fixes and recipes. Rotate citrus on the counter and pull only what you need for the week. For the freshest zest and juice, room temp is best. Freeze any extra juice in ice trays for later use. Quick myth buster. Fridge is always better. Not always true for short-term storage. Onions are best in a dry, ventilated environment where they are protected from humidity and light, which encourage sprouting and decay. Dorothy, 74, stored onions in the fridge and found them soft and moldy. She switched to a mesh bag in a cool pantry and had onions last months with perfect texture. What science shows, storage studies show that refrigerator humidity speeds degradation of whole onions. Proper cool, dry storage prevents sprouting and rot. Practical fixes and recipes. Keep onions in mesh bags in a pantry, away from potatoes. If you cut an onion, refrigerate the leftover tightly wrapped and use within a week. If you cut, slice, or cook produce, refrigerate to reduce microbial risk. Cooked food should be refrigerated within 2 hours. If in doubt about safety, toss it. Foodborne illness risk increases with age. Seniors should be cautious and favor safe practices when in doubt. If you find yourself with excess ripe fruit, consider sharing with neighbors, making preserves, or freezing portions. Community meals, small canning projects, or simple freezing preserve both flavor and social connections. For seniors who garden, swapping produce is a social and practical solution to reduce waste. Everyone's kitchen is a bit different. Try the counter versus fridge test. Buy 2 identical items and store one in the fridge and one on the counter. Taste and compare after 2 days. You will quickly learn how your specific fridge and home climate affect produce. Myths, science, and where to learn more. There are many kitchen myths. Let's separate what is commonly believed from what research supports. Myth 1. Refrigeration is always safer. Reality, for whole, intact produce, refrigeration is not always safer. Fridge environments are humid and can accelerate spoilage for certain items. Safety concerns are greater for cut or cooked foods, not whole sturdy produce. Myth 2. Cold preserves nutrients. Reality, Cold slows microbial growth but can disrupt enzymes and volatile compounds that preserve flavor and some nutrients. For chill-sensitive produce, cold can reduce aroma and nutrient availability. Myth 3. If one person in the household likes the fridge method, it's fine. Reality, individual preferences vary, but when storing. For seniors, preserving flavor and nutrient density matters. Small changes can improve appetite and enjoyment, which supports nutrition. Where to learn more? Research in Post-Harvest Physiology, Extension Service Guides, University of California Davis Post-Harvest, Agricultural Extension publications, and specialty food associations provide practical, evidence-based advice. Final words: a challenge. For the next 2 weeks. Try this. For the next 2 weeks, pick 3 of these items you usually put in the fridge. Store them the way I recommend. Keep a small note about taste, texture, and whether you wasted any food. Post your findings in the comments or tag us on social with Fresh Not Cold. We shall highlight a few reader stories. Thanks for watching. Keep your food real, your meals joyful, and your kitchen life a little simpler. See you in the next video where we will share meal ideas that use these storage swaps to make every bite taste like home.